And welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today is the quick and merry week number 1 of the Crochet Mystery. Today we're going to be doing part of the mystery, and then next week you'll join me back here again and we'll complete this mystery together. So this is what we're going to be working on. This video has sound alerts added. When you hear this sound, it will be your signal that the segment is finishing up. Press stop and crochet the instructions and then press play again to continue along in your project. So this is a 48-inch diameter Afghan, and this is more meant for home decor for your holiday gift giving. It could also be done as a cute little toddler little blanket as well. It's big enough for that. So it's really kind of a neat idea, and it's using the art form of tapestry crochet where we hide one yarn strand, use the other, and then keep switching it back and forth. It's really quite an easy design, and this is called the Peppermint Pinwheel Afghan. Now the nice thing about this particular Afghan is that you can make it bigger, so 48 inches isn't going to do it for you. You can also do a much bigger design. The way that I've designed it, it will continually grow and stay flat just like this. So you're going to be using a 6mm size J crochet hook, and in order to play for this particular pattern that we're working on, you only need 2 balls of care and 1 pound yarn. There's so much yarn on those things that you only need 1 ball of one color and 1 ball of another. But if you want to change the design to make it bigger, then you'll obviously have to get more yarn because I've designed it so that you don't run out of yarn. So I'm going to be giving some options. Let's talk about that quick. So in today's video I'm going to be giving you some options. This will not be written anywhere, so unless you're watching this video you won't even know about it. So you see how that I have a solid color right in the center. If that bothers you, I'm going to be showing you how to do this, but I'm going to also show you how to make it so that you can transition the color so it starts right from the middle. So this purple can go right to the middle like so. So I'm going to have 2 starts to show you how to do this one, and then I'll show you how this one's a little more fiddly. It's harder to describe, so I'm going to just show it to you on camera, and you won't use any less yarn really as a result of doing that. So it's only like 1 extra stitch. It's like 6 extra stitches of the purple in order to make that out. So we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be giving you an option here is if you would like to have the spiral completely go out without changing. So I have it changing every 3 rows. If you want the spiral to go all the way out just like so, you just have to do 28 rows right from the start one here. So to conclude this one and go out 28 rows all together, and then you will then stay in line with this pattern. So I'm going to be teaching it with the tapestry crochet in the sense of changing these colors strategically as you see it. Now if you're doing the tapestry crochet, there is 9 groups of these colors. So for example, this is 1 group, okay, this is number 2, okay, and then number 3 and etc. So there's a total group of 9 of those that go all the way out, and then that's going to be the end of week number 1. So for those that think that know what they're doing, you can fast forward now and go to this set of instructions as we begin. For those that would like tips on tapestry crochet on how to manipulate the yarn and things to look for, then just stay tuned and we're going to cover that next. But everybody else that knows what they're doing, they can just fast forward now, and then we'll start then at that time. So let's begin talking about the tips of using tapestry crochet. So tapestry crochet is the art of carrying one yarn. So I call it the travel yarn. And so for example, when we're using the purple here, the pink is underneath, just traveling underneath the stitches. It's not directly behind the project, it's right underneath the stitch right here. So what we have to do is that we have to then switch out those yarns every time that we want to change the color. So as we finish off the purple, then we drop the purple, then add the pink, and then we do the pink, and then etc. So it's the art of just manipulating this. So the neat thing about it is that you can actually see, if you have the colors here, you can actually see it carrying up underneath. The back of a project on something like this looks completely different. You can actually see that this is just a tail end that's hanging, but you can actually see it more on the back side of where it's carrying. So you can see it's not behind the project, it's right underneath the stitches like so. So it's one of those projects that it's more of a one-sided item when you're being able to go. So we're using 2 different colors of yarn. So how do you prevent tangling? We'll talk about that next. So we have 2 strands of yarn that we're going to be playing with, and the trick is that you don't want to tangle yourself so that they end up becoming all twisted and all like this. There's actually a really quick simple solution to this. I kind of finally figured it out after all these years. So what I realized is that if I put 1 yarn ball straight ahead of me, probably about, look where I am, okay, and I put it there, okay, just right up. I may put it on a coffee table, or I may put it on an ottoman, footstool, etc., and I'll put the first ball there. Then what I'll do, the second color I will put here, okay, right beside me on this side. So when it's coming to the hands, you'll notice that the yarn strands, when they're coming, so if the purple is up over there right now, so if the purple is up like so, the purple will be coming from this direction, okay, and the pink will then be coming from this direction. So whenever I need to switch the yarns out, all I just need to do is just completely drop the work, grab the yarn strand I want, and then continue. If they're coming from the exact same spot, it is so difficult. It is a pain. So think about where you want to position yourself and where your yarn is gonna go, and this will make your life so much easier, and you'll be able to get this done much faster too without all the fuss. So another thing to consider is counting. Oh my goodness, do you not want to count, or do you not want to count? Don't worry about it. This is why I designed this. This is so awesome. So there's 12 pieces to the pie. So let's have an apple pie here, and we can see that there's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So what we have here is that there's 12 pieces of pie, and because of there's 12 pieces of pie is that we can grow it out incrementally. It's no different than a hat or anything like that that's round. So what I did is that every time there's a color change, it's whenever you're starting the next piece of the pie. So when you're growing things out, usually it's in sets of maybe 6, or it could be 8, but in this case it's 12. So because there's 12 sections here that help it to grow, the first stitch of the new slice of pie will always have 2 in the beginning, and then the next ones are all single. So there's 2 in the beginning, and then the next ones are single. So as you grow this out even bigger, see, the first one is always gonna have 2 whenever you have this, and then the rest are all single until you get to the next group over here, and then the first one's 2 again, and the next ones are all single, and you will do that continually all the way out until you get to your 9 changes. So remember, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm coming off camera now, so there will be all the way to 9. So there's 3 rounds that make up one group, okay, and there will be 9 groups of that by the time you get there in the end of week number 1. So really you're not having to count, you just have to look, and every time you go to switch the colors, that the first one will always have 2 into the beginning. So later on in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to do this, but what I want to show it to you, and I've already actually filmed this already once before yesterday, but I'm refilming again today, because what was happening is that because I've become so used to it, I'm naturally burying the yarn in behind without actually showing you. So I'm just going to begin another new round, and the first one, because it's in the first section, will always have 2 into the first one. And see, I'm not even telling you. See, this is the travel string. The travel string stays right up underneath the project, like up underneath the stitches. So when you go to wrap, you're going to go into the stitch, but you're gonna let the travel yarn just stay on top of the hook. And when you go and pull it through, it traps it underneath, just like so, and then you pull through and finish. Now as I go along, see, it's just resting. So my travel yarn is just resting as I go. So I just want to keep on going. So here's the thing, when I am doing this off camera without anybody looking at me, I just naturally kind of just rest the yarn in behind the work without even looking at it. So see, it's kind of just sitting there, but I'm not really paying attention. I'm just going right up over top of it. So because I'm in a longer section right now of bearing this yarn, is that it can create this travel yarn to be loose. And that's because you're kind of manipulating everything, right? So every now and then, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pinch here and watch. Look at the difference. So what you want to do is that you want to continually, just once in a while, just give it a tug. And what I've been doing is that I usually tug halfway across, and then I tug again when I get all the way, and like all the way through a section, just like this. So you can see I'm just kind of having this other yarn just kind of coming up from the base of my hand, just like so, and it's just resting into position as I go across. So you can see there's not a lot of thought process to, like, you know, having to reposition it every time you're doing a stitch. It's basically holding into position, and then every now and then, so let's give it a tug again, and look how it looks in the back. Okay, so you don't really see you kind of see it, the stitches are kind of coming out. So watch as I tug on the back side, like the back. So here we go. See, it just makes it nice and snug, and then I continue along. So I don't easily turn it over like that to take a look at that as I do it. I'm just doing it for you. So what we have to do is that tapestry crochet is always about the next stitch when it comes to changing. So let me show you how to change. So I'm about to come to a next section. So tapestry crochet is always thinking about the stitch ahead. Is this stitch ahead ready to change, yes or no? So I'm still in this color here. I still want to make it opposite. I'm changing the colors out now. I've done my 3 rounds of this and now I'm switching back to purple. So what I have to do is that I have to look at what's underneath and determine when it's gonna switch. So you can tell that it's gonna switch in the first one of this purple color back to pink. So what I have to do is that in tapestry crochet I have to think about the stitch ahead. So I know that this is my last stitch of using this purple before I switch to pink. So watch how you have to do this. So because you have to think ahead, you have to finish this stitch like you're thinking ahead. So you're gonna wrap the hook and then going into the stitch, pull through 2 and hold it. This is just like changing a color midway through a row when you're running out of yarn too. It's the same process. So you're gonna just let the yarn go, and because the other yarn is positioned to my side, see, if they were coming from the same spot it's so much harder, but because it's coming from beside me, the other one, I just pick it up and grab it and then I finish it. Remember that with crochet the last pull through of a stitch is always the top of the next. So the top of this stitch here was originated here. So you gotta think ahead, right? So now I'm ready with the pink. So as I do the pink I just lay down the purple on top of the line and then I just crochet right over top of it, and because it's a new section there will be 2 into this position because I'm growing it to be bigger. So you can go as big as you need to go for these particular Afghans as long as the first section of each section has 2. And so now you can see that the purple's pulled through. So what happens is sometimes you can be a little bit loose, so you can just pull on that and it will just strengthen that last purple there, and then you just carry on. So you always have to think about the stitch ahead when it comes to tapestry crochet in this format, and then you just carry on with what you know. So what I like to do is that because this ball of the purple is in front of me, what I like to do is that I like to pull this yarn, so I give it a little bit of slack so it's just in front, so I can just rest it on top of the project and just bury it in as I go as a travel yarn. And you will get your own rhythm on how you think it should go and all of that jazz as you're working across. So this is kind of how you complete tapestry crochet. And so if you're thinking ahead and then again just tug it once in a while just to get rid of the slack, and then you're good to go. So on camera is a stitch diagram. This particular diagram does not go with this particular Afghan. It's very similar to it, just ignore the single crochets that you see here. This is for another project I've done. So what we're going to do is that we're going to start off with a solid color, but I am gonna give you an option to change the color every other one to get that spot to go all the way to the center, like to get these all the way to the center if you wish. And then what we're going to do is that we build out. So you can see that each section when you go to start it always has 2 double crochets in the very big one. So when you're reading this you go in a counterclockwise position. So when we get the first one we're gonna just chain 3 and then double crochet 11 more times because the chain 3 counts as 12, and then you just use the same color, chain up 3 which counts as a double crochet, and double crochet back into there. But we have to think ahead because the next one will be a new color, and then we have to think ahead because the next one is this color coming back into play, and then we bring up the other color. So in the very beginning of tapestry crochet in the center it's a little bit fiddly because you're switching out your yarns, but as your project gets larger and larger what happens is that it gets further and further, so the changes are not so frequent, so it's not such a pain. So it's actually really quite an easy way to do it. And as I've highlighted here, every 3 rows is a color. So when you get these 3 done, then it will be purple back on top of here, and then etc. So I'm going to give you an option. In this particular project you can either do it just like you see here as per the written instruction, or you won't use any extra yarn at all if you want to keep the pinwheel going all the way out to row number 20 or round number 28. So stop at round 28 if you want a solid pinwheel, and if you want to break it up and really have like something really quite cool, then you'll just continue along and you'll have 9 sets. So this here of the pink, the 3 is considered 1 set. These 3 are a set, so this is 1 and 2, and then you keep on going out like that until you hit number 9. So let me show you another picture. So here's the picture of the original. We're gonna start off just like so. So when I say I need you to get 9 sets done, remember that each set is made up of 3 rounds, so you can see that here. So this is 1 and this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then that's where you stop then and meet me on week number 2. So without further ado, we're going to use a J size 6mm crochet hook and Caron 1-pound yarn today, and then we're going to get started and we'll take our time and then we'll let you be. So let's get started. Today we're going to use Caron 1-pound 6mm size crochet hook. I'm going to show you 2 ways to get started. We're going to do the way that it's shown in the pattern, and then I'm going to give you an alternate and you can choose which one you like the best. So to start the first one, you're going to create a slip knot just like this, and you're going to insert your hook. This is classified as an intermediate pattern, but you know, it's just because you're switching out your yarns that makes it that. It's really not that hard. So we're going to chain a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and insert the hook into the beginning chain to form a ring, and then just yarn over and pull through, and you have the center ring of your entire project. It's easier if the first round that we're about to do is a solid color, but easier is not always more fabulous. So to begin round number 1, you just chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and go all the way around with the same color. Use this strand now to trap it around the ring as you go right up over top of it. It's very much like tapestry, but really not. And we're going to double crochet 11 more times. So with the chaining 3 and 11 double crochets, that gives you a total of 12. So it's so important to get your numbers off and started right away, and so we're gonna just do that all the way around. So in round number 1 it's just a solid color, and then we begin using the secondary color then in round number 2 as we go all the way around. So let's count our rounds. So let's count our posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you're running out of space, just it's around the ring, so just move space over, and this is 10, 11, and 12, and that was including that chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Once satisfied, then just join it to the beginning, top of chain 3, and pull through to finish, and that is round number 1. So now I'm gonna show you an alternative, just in case you would like to have the middle also align with the rest of the Afghan. That's completely up to you. So the alternative starting is having both of your strands ready at the same time. So just for kicks, I'll start off with pink this time, and we're going to start off with the slip knot. This is not written in the pattern. This is something here in video format. You'll only know about this in video format unless somebody says something to you socially in our networks. So we're going to then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we can use the same color to do the chain, and then we insert into the beginning one just like this, and we are going to just pull through, and you'll have your main center ring. And again, we want the straggler to go around the outside of the ring to make it easier. So now this is gonna get a little bit it's gonna get a little complicated, but if you're up for the challenge, this is the whole point of the mystery. So putting down my project for a second, I'm just gonna create a slip knot for my own self, and it's just easier. So remember what I talked about in the beginning of this is that whenever you do tapestry, the last part of a stitch is the roof, or is the top of the next. So in this case, what we want to do is that we want to chain a total of 2. So 1 and 2, but stop for a second and get that other chain here and or that other strand here and pull it through. So this is the roof. This purple one is the roof of your next stitch, and that's what exactly you need. So what I need you to do is that the purple now is going to be the next stitch in. So the first one that's a double crochet is a chain 3. It's the same thing, and what we're going to do is that we're going to drop all the strands into position around the ring, and let's just put it down like so and go into the center and pull through, and 2, and you gotta just hold. So let's pull all of our strands nice and tight. Just like that, and then what you have to just do is then just grab your pink and finish it. So this is why it takes a little bit longer to do the center. So let's do the pink now. We've dropped everything back down, so in behind everything's underneath. So we're gonna just wrap the hook going into the center with the pink, and we're gonna pull through. It gets easier, just trust me, it's just, this is why I never designed it this way. So pull through 2, and you're gonna drop that and grab the purple and finish it. So how many of these do you think you gotta do? You gotta do a total of 12. So you have 1, 2, and 3 so far. So now that you kind of got everything more stabilized in your hand, you can kind of look at it. So remember, tapestry crochet is always thinking about the stitch ahead. So this here is the top of the next stitch when I go to finish it. So I use the pink, and then I drop it, and then bring up the purple and finish it. See that? So it lines all the way to the top. So we just got to keep an eye, make sure everything stays nice and balanced as you go. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna switch. So this is an alternative starting. If I really had my way, I'd probably start this way, to be honest with you. I think it might look better is if it goes right to the center, and it's always thinking about how to do it. So I kinda had an issue about how to write the pattern like that. It's kinda why I never designed it that way, but really once you see it, it's really not that big a deal. And we keep switching the yarns. Isn't that neat? So the idea is to keep yourself organized, and if your balls are in the right place, you should just be able to drop the yarn and pick up the other one without it tangling too much. So I'm looking, see the other one, the purple's coming from the top, this one's coming from behind me from the floor. And the trick is to make sure you keep burying those unused yarn. So you want a total of 12 posts going all the way around. Let's just count. So we got a pink, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I got one more to go. So that was 11 and 12, and then you know what, that makes sense because the first one was actual pink, so the last one should be there. So here's the trick. So we're now at the top and we've got this going because we're gonna join it. Here's the thing. You need to move this other traveling yarn up at the same time too. So when you go to slip stitch it, normally you go to the top of the chain 3, which is good, but you have to get this other strand up there too and just put it in so that it's sitting on top, and when you go to slip stitch it, it's on top and coming out at the same spot so that it's ready for you to go next time. So this is how you do the first round. It's a little more complicated, but it looks just as good. So let's move up to round number 2. For those that are just joining us and did not want to do the alternative round, this is what you're seeing is the alternative round of every other post changing color. So in round number 2, it's just like I showed you before. We're just gonna get that yarn strand up so that we can see it. Okay, we're gonna start off with the pink, and we are going to then just chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and in the same stitch of the join you want to double crochet again. Make sure that this purple is resting on top of that and getting into position. But wait, this round here there's gonna be 2 stitches in each one and they have to match the color that's in there, so I cannot finish using this pink. I have to drop it, okay, and then pick up my purple to finish it, and then the next 2 in the purple here are going to still be purple. Okay, so you get 2 in there, but wait, you can't finish that one because the next one is gonna be pink, so you just pick it up and drop the purple on top of the row, and you can't finish the last one. So it's just a matter of remembering that the last stitch you can never finish all the way because it has to be prepared for the next. Do you see that? So what I want you to do is that I want you to complete this entire round. There's 2 stitches in every stitch that are the same color of the stitch underneath. So please do that all the way around for round number 2. So I'm coming up all the way around and I have to do my last one. Now I can tell there's a last one because every other section should be a different color, right? So you can see I still have a purple left down here. So I'm just gonna finish off with my purple, and I have to think about how I'm finishing the round. Don't forget about that. So this here is about to join here. The problem is that I need this color to be ready for me right off the hop. So I have to drop this yarn and I have to finish it with the pink so it's ready, and now I'm going to lay this strand as a slip stitch to the top of the chain 3, so I capture that so I can just drag it up one more level with me behind the work. Okay, so everything's in position and behind. So now I'm ready to start round number 3. So for those that did the alternative round, I don't want you to include that as that group of 3, so ignore this one. So we have to do 2 more rounds like this, and then we're gonna switch and make the colors opposite. So this is group number 1 as you're going making this project. So we're just gonna start in chain 3, and this purple is now in the proper position to continue to travel it. The first one will always get 2 whenever you're starting a new section like this. So every, like, even when purple's new section, new section, new section, all the way around. And so then the next one is purple, or sorry, pink, and that's it. You run out of pink. You can see the next stitch is a purple, so drop it and finish it with purple, and the first stitch is going to be 2 purples. So you can see as this gets bigger, you don't have to switch the yarn as often, and that's really what people get all uptight about when it comes to tapestry. Okay, so I'm gonna drop that. I'm getting it ready for the next section. So the next section is pink, so there's gonna be 2 in that one as well. And in behind, see how I just naturally just doing it without saying much? It's just traveling within my fingertips and behind, and I'm trapping it into position as I go. So this is kind of my second time trying to do this video, and the reason for it is that when I was doing it the first time I wasn't explaining that it's just sitting behind, because it looked like I was just dropping it completely, but it's actually just in behind, just resting on my fingertips just to make sure that I capture it. And you can see you can get in a habit, so it makes it a lot easier in the ball positions of where the yarn is coming from, on how quick you can change your hands and the yarn. So this is gonna be round number 3. I want you to do this same pattern going all the way around, just continuing to add and drop your yarns as you go. So please do round number 3. So I'm coming to the end of round number 3. Purple is gonna finish this round. Remember, the first section always will have 2 into the first one, and then you carry on and make the rest of them just 1 double crochet by itself. Now we have to join it again, so we have to drop this yarn and get the pink ready for the for the next round. So we're just going to pull it up like so, get it ready, and we're going to lay this over top of here, and then we're gonna slip stitch on the top of the beginning chain 3 with the pink to get it ready, and the purple is now trapped in a position to be ready as well. So we're just chain up 3, and then just double crochet into the same one that you did the join with, keeping that pink or purple just on top, and so the remaining then is just gonna be 1 double crochet by itself. So we can see that the next one is about to turn purple as we hit it, so we're gonna drop this one, bring up the purple, finish it, and then just start the next section, and there's always gonna be 2 in the beginning one, and then the remaining is all gonna be the purple as well. So this is it for the purple. As we finish off, drop it, get your pink back up, and then use your pink, and the first one's always got 2. So please do this all the way around, and so you can see that we are this is round number 1. So this doesn't not count as part of that group of 3. So we have, this is gonna be the final group of 3, and then we're gonna switch it and make the pink over top of the purple and purple over top of the pink the next way around. But as an alternative suggestion, I'm going to allow people that want to do a full pinwheel all the way out if they don't want to switch it like that, and that's gonna be up to you, and that will be here available. And again, you just follow the same concept if that's what you want, and you just have to make sure that there's 28 rounds, which includes the very beginning, which includes the very beginning, in order to be aligned with week number 2. So let's continue this round. I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm doing my last section here, and it's really quite easy. So in this section here, we're about to switch the positions of the colors for the next round. So here's your choice. If you would like just a regular pinwheel of no changes of colors, then you just keep on going exactly. So if you want to do that option, then all you just have to do is just finish off here, get the pink ready, finish it, and then just join it, making sure you get that in position as well. Just join it, and then you just carry on doing the pink. Okay, so that's not how the pattern is written, but I'm gonna give that as an option if that's easier for you, and etc. So then if you would like to change the colors just like it shows in the pattern, which is more interesting to my point of view, then you have to think about this last stitch more carefully. Let me go through that. So as we finish up the last round, I want to switch the colors this time so that my purples are on top of the pinks and the pinks then are on top of the purples. So look where I am right now. I got purples here. So what do you think I need to do in order to get purple to start here? I need to finish this section completely in purple. So I just finish off. I make this yarn come up as normal and I just join it with purple, and then purple is now ready to go to stand on top of the pink. So then you just chain 3 like so, and then you're just coming in and then putting your second one in there, and then you just carry on then, and your purples are now gonna be on top of your pinks. So you use the pinks as your guide for when your purples need to end. So this is the last time that the pink is before it switches to purple. So I want to drop this yarn, bring up my pink to get it ready, and then the first section of purple will now be pink. Just like that. If I wouldn't drop my stitches, it'd be easier. So again, this is kind of how you do it. So you're switching out the colors and then making sure each one of the beginnings always has 2 in there in order to begin. So you'll do then 3 rounds that look like this, and then you'll switch it back to like the pink on top of the purple again, and then you keep doing that, and there should be 9 sets of that. There will be a total of 28 rounds. So let me take you back to a photograph. I want to show you one more thing, and then I'm gonna leave you to do your homework, and then we'll be back next week in order to complete. So when we go back to the pattern, you're going to notice that it has a curvature look, and you're looking at the pattern where you are right now and you're thinking you don't have that. You will have it. It's just not happening yet. It's just a little too early. So what happens is that because you're putting 2 double crochets every time in the first section of each one of these sections, you're growing it out, and it's kind of like wanting to lean outward. So as this gets bigger, you're going to notice that this pinwheel is going to start leaning out just like this, and it's the double crochets that start around in order to make that happen. So when we see it here, okay, you see that it's starting here and it's starting to curve outward like there, and it's the double crochets that create that motion in order to happen. So what I want you to do now is I want you to get your homework done. Get me 9 sets of these colors here, or 28 rows if you're gonna do a solid pinwheel, and see me back here next week and we'll complete the Quick and Merry Crochet Afghan with you. Till next time.